How do you actually shift your energy? And what would it really look like to step into a different reality? Not just in theory, but in real lived life. For context, I'm a hypnotherapist, and a big part of my work is helping people uncover the subconscious patterns that are quietly running their lives. What I see again and again is that people don't struggle because they are broken or incapable. They struggle because they are operating from unconscious beliefs and nervous system patterns that they have not been taught to notice. Most people think that reality changes first and then we feel different. But psychology, neuroscience, and even medicine shows us the opposite. Your inner reality shapes your outer reality. Your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, nervous system state are not passive. They're constantly influencing how your body responds and how life meets you. This isn't spiritual language. It's observed, studied, and documented. There's a phenomenon in medicine called the placebo effect. And despite how casually the term gets used, it's one of the clearest demonstrations of how belief interacts with the body. One of the most cited cases in medical literature is the case of Mr. Wright, documented by immunologist Dr. Chester. Mr. Wright had advanced stage of cancer and doctors believed he only had weeks to live. However, when Mr. Wright heard about a new experimental drug, he became deeply hopeful. He truly believed this treatment would heal him. The drug he was given was later discovered to be ineffective. It had no chemical ability to treat cancer. And yet, within days, his tumor shrank, his symptoms improved, his body responded as though real healing was taking place. But later, when he learned that the drug was considered ineffective, his belief collapsed and so did his health. This story is not shared to suggest that belief replaces medicines. Medicine saves lives. What it shows us is something more subtle and more important, that body responds to meaning, expectation, and belief. This is studied in the field of psychoneuroimmunology, which explores how psychological states influence immune function. Researchers have shown that even open ended placebos, where patients know that they're receiving a placebo, can still reduce symptoms. Why? Because the body responds to safety, reassurance, and expectation. Now, let me share another study that shows how belief shapes lived experience, even without any physical change. In 1982, psychologists conducted a study on perceived facial disfigurement. Participants were told that they had a noticeable scar on their face, and makeup was applied to make it look real. But before they went out to interact with others, the researchers secretly removed the scar without telling them, so there was no mark on their faces. Yet, when participants returned, many reported being stared at, judged, or treated differently. They felt rejected, they felt self conscious. Nothing had changed physically. What changed was their belief. Researchers concluded that people were not reacting to an actual scar, they were reacting to the participants' body language, tone, eye contact, and energy, all shaped by what they believed about themselves. Their inner story became their lived reality. And this is how identity works. Your identity sets your emotional baseline. Your emotional baseline sets your nervous system state. And your nervous system state shapes how you perceive, respond to, move through life. Most people are not consciously choosing this, they are running on autopilot. Old beliefs, old conditioning, old survival patterns. That's why awareness is everything. Awareness is step one. And when I say awareness, this is what I mean. Maybe something small happens. Someone doesn't reply to your message. You get feedback at work, a comment lands wrong, and suddenly your reaction feels bigger than the moment. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your jaw clenches. You keep ruminating about the situation. Part of you knows that you are overreacting, but you do not know why. Or maybe the opposite happens. Something that should make you feel something doesn't. You feel flat, disconnected, numb. You're functioning, but you're really not there. That's when awareness matters. Here's a really helpful thing you can do: lie down somewhere comfortable. Make sure you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes. and gently ask yourself, when did I first feel this? Not intellectually, but emotionally in your body. You might notice a sensation before a thought, heaviness in your chest, pressure in your throat, a sinking feeling in the gut. Stay with that sensation. Let it be there. Then ask again softly, when was the first time my body learned this feeling? Sometimes a memory comes up, sometimes an image, sometimes just a sense of age or atmosphere, and sometimes nothing comes up at first. That's okay. This isn't about forcing answers. If you do this for a few days, the nervous system starts to trust that you're listening and it reveals what it's been holding. This matters because when you see where the pattern started, you can begin to unstitch the story attached to it. And when the story loosens, the emotional charge loosens too. That's how you create space for a new identity, for a new reality. But awareness alone isn't enough. Step two is regulation. Regulation means allowing emotions to move without making them mean something about who you are. And here's what it looks like practically. If sadness comes up, you let yourself feel sad without deciding that you're weak or broken or that this feeling defines you. If anger comes up, you feel the heat and tension without acting it out, suppressing it, or turning it into self judgment. If anxiety shows up, you notice it without telling yourself a story about the future. If numbness is there, you don't force feeling, you simply notice the shutdown without labeling yourself as disconnected or incapable. An emotion becomes something you experience, not something you are. You might still cry and still know you're safe. You might feel anxious and still know that you're capable. Regulation is staying present while the emotion completes its cycle, instead of tightening around it or explaining it away. And then comes the final step, embodiment. Embodiment is where the new identity becomes real in daily life. It might look like speaking more slowly because you're no longer rushing to prove yourself. It might look like resting without guilt. It might look like setting a boundary without over explaining. And guilt for setting a boundary might still show up, but you observe it and you don't let it make you believe that you did something wrong or bad. It might look like charging fairly for your work. It might look like choosing consistency over intensity. Embodiment often feels unfamiliar at first. That doesn't mean it's wrong, it means your nervous system is learning something new. With repetition, this new way of being becomes your baseline. Think of reality like a printing press. Your subconscious is the plate, your beliefs are the ink, your outer world is the printed page. If you keep using the same plate, you'll keep getting the same result. Change the plate, and the print changes automatically. So start here. Awareness first, regulation second, and then comes the final step, embodiment. You don't need to force change. You just need to see clearly, feel safely, and live in alignment. And when your energy shifts, your reality follows. If this resonated with you, take a moment and just notice what came up in your body as you listened. That awareness alone is already doing something. If you want to explore this work more deeply, you can follow me here for grounded conversations around healing, identity, and subconscious change. And if this video helped you, feel free to like it or share it with someone who might need it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.